Dr. Naia Vel'shara was the last of the Wanderers, a species whose homeworld was lost 3 generations ago to stellar collapse. For 70 years, scattered refugee populations had searched for Eth'arena, a mythical sanctuary their ancestors had prepared against exactly this catastrophe. The only guide was the star map of First Paths, an artifact Naia had carried across half the galaxy. Ancient crystalline data core containing navigational data accumulated over millennia. Then pirates attacked her transport during routine transit. In the evacuation chaos, her storage container breached. She watched helplessly as the star map was sucked into the void, disappearing into endless black between stars. She was rescued by the human salvage vessel Wayfinder, brought aboard more dead than alive, physically intact but psychologically shattered. Captain Elias Harmon found her in medical 3 days later, staring at nothing, unresponsive to treatment. The doctor explained, "Physically fine, but she's given up. Whatever she lost, it was everything to her." Elias, who made his living finding things others considered lost forever, sat beside her bed. "What did you lose?" Naia's answer came in broken standard, filtered through grief. "Everything. My people's last hope. The way home. 3 generations of searching ended because I couldn't hold onto one artifact." Elias studied her, the despair in her crystalline eyes, the way her long ears drooped with grief. He made a decision that would consume the next 3 months of his life. "Tell me about this artifact. Tell me everything." Over following days, Elias coaxed the full story from Naia. The Wanderers, lost homeworld, legendary Eth'arena, and the star map containing coordinates. The map was encoded in ancient stellar cartography, Naia explained. Not just coordinates but context, what the sky looked like from our homeworld, what constellations guided our ancestors, stellar drift calculations. Without it, I have nothing. Elias listened, his engineer's mind already working. "This map, it was based on observations, right? Things your ancestors saw and recorded." "Yes, but then the data still exists, not in your artifact but out there." He gestured toward the observation port. "The universe keeps records too. If your ancestors saw specific stellar patterns, those patterns still exist. They've moved, changed position, but the data is still there." Naia looked at him like he'd suggested rebuilding a planet from scattered atoms. That would require comparing ancient observations to current positions across thousands of light years, accounting for 70 years of drift, interpreting fragmentary legends. It's impossible. "Impossible just means no one solved it yet," Elias replied. "Tell me everything you remember about your people's stellar mythology. Every constellation, every navigational landmark. We'll start there." He didn't understand what he was proposing, the sheer scale, the complexity, the likelihood that Eth'arena was myth rather than reality. But Naia, who had nothing left except this human's stubborn refusal to accept defeat, began talking. She described the 3 Watchers, constellations used for navigation. She recounted the Song of Paths, oral tradition encoding stellar positions through rhythm. She shared memories of her grandmother explaining the map's symbols. Elias recorded everything, expression growing thoughtful as complexity became apparent. This wasn't impossible, just difficult. And difficult was what he did best. Each night, Elias spent hours in the observation dome, comparing Naia's descriptions to visible stellar patterns. He taught himself stellar cartography, learned to account for drift and relative motion, began building frameworks for translating ancient wanderer observations into current coordinates. Naia watched at first with numb detachment, expecting futility, but as days became weeks, something changed. She saw Elias' dedication, how he forgoes sleep to track star clusters, filled notebooks with calculations, treated her legends with technical seriousness. "Why are you doing this?" she asked one night, finding him at 3 in the morning hunched over star charts. Elias looked up. "Because you need this, because your people need this. And because I've spent my career finding things people thought were lost forever. Maybe finding your home is just a bigger version of what I already do. But Eth'arena might not even exist, Naia protested. You could waste months on a myth. Or I could waste months and find something real. Either way, I'd rather search than accept defeat. His stubborn optimism was infectious. Naia began helping, providing context for observations, explaining wanderer navigation philosophy, teaching Elias the song of paths so he could hear the rhythm encoding positional data. Their collaboration deepened from captain and refugee into partnership, built on shared purpose and growing respect. Slowly, painstakingly, patterns emerged. A constellation matched stellar positions in a specific region. The song's rhythmic intervals, translated through Elias equations, suggested coordinates within reasonable parameters. What seemed impossible began looking merely difficult, then potentially achievable. 3 months after Naia lost the star map, they stood in the observation dome looking at an unremarkable yellow star barely visible among thousands. "That's it," Elias said quietly. "If I've calculated correctly, and I think I have, that's your Eth'arena system." The journey to confirm took 2 weeks, and with each passing day, Naia felt something she hadn't experienced since losing the map. Hope. Not desperate hope, but something steadier, built on shared work and proven dedication. When the Wayfinder entered the suspected system, scans revealed what legends promised. Habitable world, ancient orbital infrastructure, atmospheric composition matching historical descriptions. "It's real," Naia whispered. "Elias, it's actually real. Eth'arena exists." They descended together, following automated landing protocols that activated after 70 years of waiting. The landing site was overgrown but intact, ancient wanderer architecture recognizable despite abandonment. Naia stepped onto the surface and felt something fundamental shift. This was home, not because she was born here but because her people built it for exactly this moment. Elias stood beside her. When she turned to thank him, words caught. "How do you thank someone for rebuilding your entire world from legends and stubbornness?" "I lost the star map," she finally managed. "Lost everything my family protected for generations. I thought that was the end." "But it wasn't," Elias said gently. "Because the real map was never in that artifact. It was in your memories, your traditions, your accumulated knowledge. I just helped translate it into coordinates." Naia shook her head. "You did more than translate. You refused to let me give up. You spent 3 months searching the entire sky because I couldn't. You found what was lost, not just Eth'arena but me. I was lost too." Elias took her hand carefully. She intertwined her fingers with his, the gesture feeling like coming home differently. "I didn't find you," he said. "You were always here. I just helped you remember that lost doesn't mean gone forever. Sometimes it just means waiting to be rediscovered." Over following months, Naia sent word to scattered wanderer communities. Refugee populations who'd given up hope suddenly had a destination. The Wayfinder became transport, ferrying wanderers to their sanctuary. Elias stayed, ostensibly to help reactivate infrastructure. Really, he stayed because somewhere between searching the sky and finding what was lost, he'd found something unexpected. Purpose beyond salvage, home beyond his ship, connection transcending species. One evening, watching Eth'arena's first sunset together, Naia said quietly, "Thank you for not accepting that the map's loss meant the end. For searching when I couldn't. For believing a myth could be real." Elias squeezed her hand. "Thank you for teaching me that the most valuable salvage isn't objects, it's hope. You gave me that, even when you thought you had nothing left." They kissed as stars appeared. The same stars Elias traced night after night. The same constellations that guided them. The same cosmic map that was never truly lost, just waiting to be read by someone stubborn enough to search the entire sky. Naia, who'd thought she'd lost everything when the star map disappeared, realized she'd found something more valuable. Proof that what matters most, home, hope, connection, is never truly lost as long as someone cares enough to search. The ancient artifact was gone, but its purpose fulfilled. Not through data it contained, but through the journey of recovering it. The dedication, partnership, stubborn refusal to accept that lost means gone forever. Sometimes, what's truly important isn't the map itself, but the people willing to redraw it when you can't. And sometimes, the greatest discoveries aren't destinations but the connections forged while searching for them.